to share with you in this video today my entire experience of using the whole Mario Badescu line and only the Mario Badescu line as my skincare for 30 days. Let's get into it. So let's go down the whole list of everything that I bought. So this is the kit for the Combo Dry Regimen, and it has the Seaweed Cleansing Soap, the Seaweed Cleansing Lotion, the Hydro Moisturizer with Vitamin C. This moisturizer does not have SPF in it. The Enzyme Revitalizing Mask, and the Hyaluronic Eye Cream, all for $30, which usually, I believe this one by itself would be $24. So the fact that you are getting all of this for only $30 is a huge win. So since they did not have a moisturizer that has SPF in it, I went ahead and I got the Mario Badescu oil-free moisturizer, and this one has an SPF of 30 in it, and all the other ones had like SPF 20, SPF 15, and I was like, no girl, I need 30, minimum of 30. So I did get this guy, hoping that because it's oil-free, it'll last really well under my makeup, because my other SPFs do not. They will always mess with the way that my foundation lasts. Also, I am like an oil fiend, which is funny because I did just say that I bought this one. I did not buy this one because it was oil free. I bought it for the SPF 30, but curious to see how the oil-free does help with the makeup, because I am such an oil fiend. Like, I put oil on my face every single night, not in the morning, but every single night I put oil on my face. So I went ahead and did the Rosehips Nourishing Oil. I've actually used this once before. It's the only oil that they have. They have a vitamin C serum, but I wanted something that was specifically an oil. This one I've tried before, so I'm curious to see how everything works together. And then the last thing that I almost got the lip balm by itself. I put a huge glob of lip balm on my lips right before I go to bed at night. Usually I use the Malin and Gotez Mojito lip balm, and this one has been, oh my gosh, my freaking favorite for a few months now. But I also got this little kit. Now this is actually a holiday kit, so they're not going to have this all the time, but this has the lip balm, which is normally $8 by itself, with a small size of, and this is not even the small size that they carry of the sprays, but a small size of the facial spray with aloe, cucumber, and green tea. Now, I actually currently do own the Mario Badescu Rosewater that everyone has like loved so much, and I've been using that for a while and I like it. I don't know if it's like making a substantial difference in my skin, but it's nice. Feels nice. So I am curious to see how I like this one as well. So now let's talk about first impressions. So let's start with the first step in the routine, and that is the cleanser.
Night number 1.
I had mixed feelings going into the cleanser. I knew that it was a cleanser, more of a creamy cleanser, and usually whenever cleansers are more creamy, I feel like they don't cleanse as deeply, and so I had mixed feelings about it, but I had just had a really good experience with the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Cleanser, and that one is a hydrating cleanser for dry skin, has a hydrating serum in it, stuff like that, and I had a really good experience with that, so I had higher hopes. Now, this one, I did feel like as I used it throughout the weeks that there were a few weird things about it. First off, let me say this though. I did feel like it cleansed my skin okay. It wasn't amazing. On a regular basis, it was fine, but I did feel like after a few weeks, like my skin was getting congested, and over time, like I was going to need a deeper cleanse.
It is my last day of using Mario Badescu. I am about to hop in the shower, and I'm gonna use the Seaweed Cleansing Soap for probably the last time.
And I did notice little things, like if I took it into the shower with me, because I do every time I take a shower, I cleanse my face. And so whenever I would take it into the shower with me, if my face was already wet and I tried to cleanse it with my face already wet, it would not work. Like, just I would get out of the shower, even if I cleansed my face like 3 times, I would get out of the shower and there would still be like makeup around and I would like freaking scrub in these areas and all through here. Like, very thorough, and I would get out of the shower after cleansing multiple times and there would still be like makeup in random areas, like on my forehead and in here and like sometimes on my chin and sometimes even on my cheek, like the obvious areas where you just cleanse, you know? I didn't really like that. I felt like my face had to be perfectly dry in order for this to do its job, and even then it didn't feel like over time like it was really giving me the deepest cleanse that I needed.
So last night I used the Mario Badescu face wash, the last of it, in the shower. And this is what my skin just looks like. I just removed all my makeup. And I feel like my skin looks really dry around this nose area because I couldn't get all of the makeup off last night. It was super annoying, especially in this area. It felt like it was all just like dry and rough, and it's felt like that all day. And it's even felt like that on my chin, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's just like there's all this rough skin because for some reason, whenever you use that cleanser, I already felt like that cleanser wasn't giving you the deepest clean, but if you use it in the shower and like your face is already wet, like good luck. And I cleanse my face twice, so I just go in once and then rinse it off and then go in again. There's no reason that I should have had any makeup left over because of how careful I was in this area. I was like going like this around my nose and everything, and there was still just like a little bit of makeup residue. And so now I feel like because I didn't get all my makeup off last night and didn't realize it, I have all these a bunch more friends up here. So I am a little bit frustrated by that cleanser, but this is the me on the day after finishing my Mario Badescu skincare routine.
So now let's move on to the toner. So this is not technically a toner, it's called a Seaweed cleansing lotion. So I guess it's kind of like a micellar water. It doesn't say that it has micellar water in it, but it does have witch hazel in it, which a lot of people use just witch hazel as a toner by itself. It helps to soften the skin, close pores, detoxify everything. And so witch hazel is like the third ingredient in it, so it's pretty high up there. This guy, actually the first time that I used it, it burned my face a little bit. Like I definitely felt like tingling and a little bit of a burning sensation. I genuinely thought I probably wasn't going to be able to continue to use it. But actually, and this happens with my skin quite frequently because I do have sensitive skin, as I continue to use it over the weeks, I do feel like my skin kind of adjusted to it a little bit, and it was nice. It just kind of felt normal, honestly. And it didn't even feel quite as refreshing as my usual micellar water. So I usually go in with the Garnier Fructis micellar cleansing water, or just any kind of cleansing water. However, even though this burned my face the first, I would say like 3 times that I used it, but then after that, it's like my skin slowly warmed up to it, I did notice that my pores genuinely felt like they were shrinking. Like I do struggle with pores on a regular basis, like, and it's not that like the pores are just open on themselves, it's that I can see that my pores are full of sebum, which is oil. And so after using this for a while, I think it was like the first week that I really noticed it, my pores genuinely felt like they were smaller, and I was stunned because I am not a believer in toner, but now I might be a little bit of a believer in toner. So let's talk about the Enzyme Mask, because this would be the point. Actually, I would do this before my toner, but this is when we would exfoliate. And this Enzyme Mask, I have to say, I did a little bit of a fail because I did not use this as recommended. However, I will say, because it does recommend to use it 2 to 3 times a week. I know that with my skin, no matter what mask it is, I cannot use almost any mask 2 to 3 times a week. Like, forget it. Even if it's like an ultra comforting mask or something like that, like it's gentle and calm and stuff like that. No, my skin will not have it. It won't have any kind of mask 3 times a week. I don't know what it is.
I'm gonna be honest, I have not been good about using the mask, the Enzyme Mask, as regularly as I should, but that's just kind of like that's real life, you know what I'm saying? And I don't really feel bad about not like keeping up the routine exactly perfectly, because if I'm going to do a routine, I need it to fit with my lifestyle and work for my lifestyle. And if a 20-minute mask is not going to work for my lifestyle, that's just kind of how it is. And I'm going to use it tonight. I'm going to try to use it perfectly this week, so 2 to 3 times a week this week up until the final day.
This Enzyme Revitalizing Mask I probably used about once a week. I did not do it 2 to 3 times a week. I didn't want to overdo it and freak my skin out. There was actually 1 week that I did it twice and my skin started to freak out. So then I was like, no, not doing that. However, I will say that this one I really liked. For anybody who has been watching my channel for a while, you know that I have been obsessed with the glycolic mask from Strivectin. That stuff is amazing. Like, the Holy Lord Jesus like sent it down in a cloud to the skincare gods, who passed it on to us and has blessed us with a gift of baby soft skin. Okay, and that's what the Strivectin glycolic mask does for you. Let's just say that this guy had a high bar. This poor little guy had a high bar to reach, and he did a respectable job. He made a really good effort, and he got there. He got about halfway there. He did a good job. And that's about how I feel about this mask. For the price, it's really pretty good, honestly. It kind of has an interesting consistency. Every time you open it, you're like, wait, what is this? Is this sulfur? Like, it's separating, it has that yellow tint. However, what I do like about this mask is that it is a 20-minute mask. I like 20-minute masks. I would say that if you are somebody who is very sensitive to glycolic, because glycolic would be considered a chemical exfoliant, and you don't want anything that's too strong or anything that's going to burn your face, this guy is actually a really, really good reach, because it is super cheap. The regular price is $20. That's really good, especially compared to the Strivectin, which is $59. Let's not talk about it, okay? So once we have cleansed and exfoliated and done our toner, the next thing is oil. This is where I would put my oils on my face. And so I used, obviously, the Rosehips Nourishing Oil. What's super interesting about this oil that I didn't really expect was that it has a really watery consistency. Like, it literally just feels like water with like a hint of oil in it. In fact, let's look at the ingredients here. Oh, look at that. Second ingredient, water, which is super interesting to me because water and oil don't mix well together. So why would you put water as a main ingredient in your oil? So there's Rosa Canina fruit extract oil, and then there are 2 different forms of castor oil in here. Now, castor oil actually is a really, really good oil for your skin. It can help with breakouts, all different kinds of things. There's more water in here than there is oil in here, and so that is something to consider. You're only paying $22 for 1 fluid ounce. It feels like something that would be fine for oily skin. Like, if you're somebody who you're like, I know that I need to use an oil, but I really don't want to, and I don't like the feeling of oil on my skin, and my skin produces enough oil, then this is probably the oil that you want to reach for. However, if you're somebody who genuinely needs an oil, you're like, my skin is dying and cracking and falling apart, then this is not going to be the oil for you. However, it is a fine balance, because some oils can be too heavy and then some oils aren't hydrating enough, and it's kind of just finding that perfect in between. So now let's talk about this moisturizer, because this moisturizer is super, super interesting. Totally shocked me the first time that I used it, because I put just a regular amount on my hand. Oh God, not that much. I put probably about half of that. So probably about that much on my hand, which is how much I would normally use. So this is the Hydro Moisturizer with vitamin C. It goes on forever. Like, you can put a tiny amount. I ended up starting to use half of what I just showed you that I normally use. I still like, it's like it doesn't go into the skin right away. Like, everything just sits on top and it takes a while for it to like fully sink into the skin. But not in like a heavy way, not like it feels like you're wearing a thick layer. It still feels really light. Whenever you normally apply a moisturizer, you're like massaging it in and it like goes into your skin, and then eventually it gets harder to massage, and that's when you stop massaging it. This one, it was like you could just keep going on forever if you wanted to. And it was the weirdest thing. And you could genuinely see like the moisturizer sitting on top of your skin. Like, I was so confused the first time that I used it. I was like, did I apply too much? Did I not massage it in long enough? Like, I felt like I had forgotten how to apply skincare. As I continued to use it throughout the weeks, I did kind of get used to it. I did end up using about half the amount that I normally would use in a moisturizer, which was cool. I do think that this moisturizer wasn't for me because it does have vitamin C in it, and I can be very sensitive to vitamin C, and that's what I was kind of worried about whenever I started using it, and I think I said something about that towards the beginning. In terms of hydration, I felt like my skin loved it. Like, my skin was living its best life in terms of hydration. I got so many compliments from so many people. They were like, wow, your skin looks so good. What are you using? Like, I got so many of those kinds of comments after I'd been using this entire line for about 2 weeks. And I do really think that the moisturizer had something to do with it, but I did feel like I started to get a few breakouts and things and some redness and a few little things here and there, and I do genuinely feel like that was from the vitamin C. Although I did really love that, and I felt like my skin loved whatever form of hydration was in that my skin was just living for. Yeah, it was really good. My skin was just, it felt like it looked brighter and smoother and more radiant and plumper and everything in between. It's not something that I can continue to use because of the vitamin C. So that's a slight bummer. So now let's talk about the 2 sprays that I was using, because I bought the aloe green tea and cucumber spray, but I still had some of the rosewater spray left, so I kind of just used these interchangeably. I tried to use one in the morning and one at night. I like the rosewater spray better, honestly. This guy, if you have oily skin, there's a reason that they have more than one. If you have oily skin, this guy's going to be a better option for you. It felt like it did literally nothing for me. Literally nothing. Like, I didn't feel like my skin had any extra hydration. It was a little bit cooling, but it didn't really feel much more cooling than the rosewater did because it's water, you know, it's gonna feel cooling. I kind of just felt like I was just spraying water on my face, which is what you're doing with both of these, but like, this one felt like it had more hydration to it. I definitely felt like this one had more hydration to it and even helped with my breakouts a little bit. But this one I would definitely repurchase, and this one I will probably never use again. So let's talk about the lip balm, because oh my gosh. So let me just say, for a while now, I got this Malin and Gotez Mojito lip balm, and it has been my favorite for months. I just like, I'll take a big glop of this and I'll put this all over my lips. I used the Bite Agave lip mask for a long time and I was obsessed with that one, but that one pales in comparison to this guy. This one is incredible and has just saved my lips time and time again, because I always have dry lips. Always have dry lips. And so I take a big glob at night and I'm just like, all over. And then I'll take a big glob in the morning, all over right after I brush my teeth. And that's how I keep my lips in shape. This guy I love almost as much. Oh, so close. And this guy is like, I don't know, it's like $25 or $28 or something. This guy is not cheap. And this guy is only $8. So the fact that this guy is $8, it's a pretty freaking good dupe for this guy. I gotta be honest. It's $8. How many ounces is this? Let's see. This is 0.35 ounces. So these are the same size. Same size, same amount of product. $8, like less than half the price. If you ever tried this balm, or you have another balm that is a little bit more pricey and you want a good dupe, you gotta try this guy. It is so, so good. So then there is the one body product that was not originally going to be part of this video, but now it is because I finished it as we were doing this video. So this is the AHA Botanical Body Soap. Honestly, the only thing that I felt like this body soap did, the only thing I felt like this body soap did was make my skin dry. And I was so bummed. I was like, because I am all for the AHAs, the BHAs, like give me those chemical exfoliants, give me those enzymes, give me the, give it all. This guy didn't do anything for me. It only made my skin feel super, super dry. It felt like it just stripped everything to where I felt like, normally I don't really feel like I need to put on lotion, right? Like on my whole body after I get out of the shower, but this time I did. It just felt like the soap was really strong in it. It was overstripping. I didn't feel like my skin looked glowier or less dull or anything like that, which that's what AHAs are supposed to do. They are supposed to exfoliate your skin so that you have a nice glow and everything in between. Do not recommend this whatsoever. You're better off with the bar of Dove soap. Like, just no, absolutely not. The oil-free moisturizer. I did really like this actually, and I have continued to use it past the 30 days. I actually have two that I keep on hand. So this one I keep in my bathroom, and then this one, the Strivectin Repair and Protect Moisturizer with SPF of 30, I keep in my studio. So depends on where I put my moisturizer on. If I'm in here, I'll put this on. If I'm in my bathroom, I'll put this guy on. I have been pleasantly surprised by how much I actually like this guy and will probably continue to use for a while. And one of the reasons I actually really like this guy is because I guess since it's oil-free, I thought that it wasn't going to be hydrating enough since it was oil-free, but I haven't felt that way. It still feels really nice and hydrating. And since it doesn't have the oil in it, it hasn't broken down my makeup, which has been my experience with any other SPF moisturizer that I've used, is that since it has the SPF in it, it has, I guess it's the oils or something that's in the SPF that have, I've always found that my makeup will break down more whenever I'm wearing a moisturizer with SPF underneath it. However, I have not had that experience once with this Mario Badescu oil-free moisturizer with an SPF 30. This one I actually do highly recommend, especially if you have oily skin and you're like, oh, I hate putting sunscreen on my face because it feels like thicker. This one feels really nice and lightweight. It is so good, nice and hydrating, but it doesn't feel thick. It still smells like sunscreen, so if you hate the smell of sunscreen, that's a totally different story. But this one, highly recommend. Let's freaking talk about this eye cream. I was so pleasantly surprised using this eye cream. Now, the first time I used it, I was so confused by it because I like put my finger in it and like nothing came out. Because usually I just will like dip my finger in my eye cream and then go like this and then like, it's like so cute. This time you dip your finger in and like nothing would come out. And this one has such an interesting thick consistency. It almost feels like Vaseline. Like it's almost just like straight petroleum jelly. I know that that's not what it is, but that's like the consistency that it has. I had to go in and like scrape a little bit out with my fingernail in order to actually like separate it. And then as you can see, I used it up completely. This one, since it is thicker, I did end up using a little bit more eye cream because I wanted enough to like spread all the way out here. I usually will like bring it out to my temples and then up onto my eyelid. So I just follow like this orbital bone here. And this guy, I actually really liked. At first I was like, absolutely not, never using this again. Like for the first week I felt like that. I was like, oh yeah, such a weird consistency. Like it was so much to get used to, so different from anything I had ever used. Now that I've used it for 30 days, actually that was the first thing that I ran out of. So I think I ran out of it mid of the last week that I was using Mario Badescu. I had to switch back to my previous eye cream, which is the Ulla Henriksen Banana Bright Eye Cream, but it was only for like the last few days that I had to switch back to that. But this guy almost lasted me the 30 days, and the only reason it didn't was because I used probably more than I was supposed to. After using it for several weeks, I noticed that I really felt like my eye area looked smoother, felt plumper, felt like it was more hydrated than I had seen it in a while. It's kind of one of those things where you don't really know what you didn't have until you have it, you know, basically the curse of being an American, basically. That we have all these nice things, and then it's like, once we don't, oh, God forbid our internet is slow, and then we like all die, you know. That's what it was kind of like. It's like started using this, and then you're like, oh, I didn't know that my under eyes could look so freaking hydrated. So what do I think about the Mario Badescu line overall? I actually feel like most of the products, you get some pretty good bang for your buck. Like, these are pretty high performing products for the price that you're paying. The big winners to me is going to be the Seaweed cleansing lotion, because it had shrunk my pores more than any other product that I had ever used. The oil-free moisturizer, because of how my makeup wore on top of it and it didn't break it down. I didn't get super shiny at the end of the day or anything like that. I realized that all the shininess that I was getting was from my SPF, which I did not have with this. The Hyaluronic Eye Cream, super weird consistency, but super great performance. So good for your under eyes, super nourishing, everything in between. And then the lip balm. This stuff was so good. The only reason I'm not putting the Hydro Moisturizer with vitamin C in this, it was technically a big win for me because of just how bright and plump and smooth and everything that my face looked. This is not a big win for me because it has vitamin C, but that's a personal thing. If you're not sensitive to vitamin C, you'll probably freaking love it, okay? But another thing that I couldn't get past with this guy is that consistency, and so I didn't put it in the big wins. These are my 4 big wins, definitely the products that I would highly recommend. The few things that I would absolutely not recommend would be the cleansing soap. Just, it's not gonna get the job done. It's just not. And then the Rose Nourishing Oil, it's just so mediocre. It's not worth the $22. Like, you could get a $6 oil that would be better than that. The facial spray with aloe, cucumber, and green tea, just nothing. It's like, just spray water on your face, you know? And then the AHA Botanical body soap. This guy is just so, no. Dove bar soap will be just fine if that's the kind of result that you're wanting. The 2 guys that are kind of just in between is the Rosewater. Like, I like it, but I can live without it. And then the Enzyme Mask. If you're somebody who doesn't have a regular exfoliating routine, this will probably totally blow you away. But for me, who has used the godsend of the Strivectin glycolic mask, this one had a high bar and it just did not quite reach it. So these 2 are kind of like that in between. So if you are looking for some products that will work well for your skincare goals, go ahead and check out this video right here. I made a whole video on skincare that will save your skin during the winter months, because we get dry, we get crusty, we get rusted, we get busted. And that, yes, that is a James Charles reference. And yeah, you should definitely check out that video, because even if you don't just deal with dry skin, but you're like, my skin is just dull and it's just like not, like I know that it can be better, those are the products that you need to check out. So click right there and I will see you over there.